Babe, what are you most excited for on our trip to Vietnam?
Just a change of scenery. I think just changing it up, living a different way, seeing how the kids do in another country, and just having an adventure.
Yep, agreeing.
And eating the food.
And the food.
Hey, we're Shane and Tara, and these are our 2 kids, and together we're off to explore a world of our own making. We are beyond lucky that we get to call the east coast of Australia home, but somehow between career changes and 2 babies, it's been over 10 years since we last globetrotted, and for 2 people who actually met overseas and have travelled almost 30 countries between us, we knew it was time. Time to finally fulfill our dreams of travelling the world with our kids, showing them this beautiful world that they belong to, but at the same time intentionally growing a world of our own around them. One where there's no limit to what your heart can create. One that puts freedom, self-expression, family, growth and grit at the forefront and instills in our kids that growing up together every single day is what life is all about. So this is where it all starts for us. A 3-month visa and flights to Hoi An, Vietnam, packing up our rental, putting some things into storage and taking the leap on a journey where we don't really know how long it will last or where it will take us, but we're in for the adventure and thankfully so are our kids. So this very first video is a little vlog mashup of our move, a little pit stop into Sydney to see my family and then eventually on to Ho Chi Minh. We're really excited to share this journey with you guys, so thanks for watching and here we go. I'm starting to understand now why no one really shares the part of like packing up your house, moving things into storage, and that kind of side of world schooling, of traveling as a family, because it's just exhausting and it's just like there's just so much work that needs to happen that you can't even think about the traveling part. Like you're just so in the logistics and the admin and the stuff, you know, moving of the stuff, that it's just so hard to focus on what's on the other side, which is all the travel and all the excitement and the adventure. I keep getting asked about different things that we're going to be doing and the whole trip and all of that, and I just really struggle to feel like I'm there and landed in that energy and that experience. And like, yes, I'm excited, but I'm just like not there yet because I'm so in the thick of packing up a house, getting 4 people ready to leave the country and move things into storage and all of that jazz. And so, yeah, I'm getting now why no one really shares this part, and it's all about the, hey, here's our suitcases and us at the departures lounge of the airport and now we're off. Like, it makes a lot of sense. Okay, so the house is like 97% packed and I've moved all the suitcases and all the clothes into another room so that I can just focus on packing suitcases, because packing a house and packing suitcases to move overseas at the same time is just not happening, especially when all the stuff is in the same room. So tomorrow is moving day, so I think we'll be all right. We're doing it! Okay, so we're just getting our stuff into storage and then we've got to clean the place and then that's it. But I feel like it's still a long way to go. We did it! Okay, this is a terrible angle, but checking in, I finished up the house, cleaning the house, got the keys to the real estate agent, now I've come home to my in-laws' house where all of our stuff is, to try to even out our suitcases because we are overweight. And now I've got like 20 minutes before we have to leave for the airport. I have felt like every single day for the last 3-4 days has felt like a race, like constantly in a rush, trying to make some kind of deadline, like the time the truck has to be picked up or dropped off, or the time that, you know, the house has to be cleaned by, whatever it is. And that's, my nervous system is in deep need of a massage in Vietnam, and just an exhale. So I'm really excited to be heading to Sydney for a few days before we get to Vietnam, so that we can just unwind and chill and breathe before embarking on the bigness of going to another country with a 3 and a 7-year-old, and setting ourselves up. So taking a deep breath, saying thank you to the Sunny Coast for being the most amazing home for the last 2 years. And yeah, only now am I like going to be able to really like tune into this move separate from the whole packing up a house, cleaning up a house, moving things into storage mode, because that's what life has been about for the last few weeks, and I'm just so ready to be in holiday mode. So I'm at my dad's house here in Sydney, and we fly to Vietnam today. It's about 9:30 in the morning. We have to kind of leave here at about 11ish to head to the airport for an afternoon flight, and we will be flying into Ho Chi Minh and arriving there about 9 p.m. local time, which is almost midnight Sydney time. So it's going to be a really big day. Not just navigating a 9-hour international flight with the kids for the first time, but landing in the middle of the night with the little kids, and hopefully not having to navigate a long lineup at immigration when we get there, because I have heard that there's some delays often and you have to kind of stand in line for quite some time. So I'm hoping that the time of day means that we hopefully don't have to navigate that, but we shall see. But then obviously, yeah, getting to our hotel, checking in, getting the kids into bed, it's just going to be a really big, long day. And I don't know if it's that or it's just the nerves and the anticipation and the scariness of embarking on something brand new as a family, and just being the parent in it, taking my kids international for the first time. I know that everyone does this all the time. We always, people travel internationally with kids all the time. But I think because I have traveled so much before kids, and this is the first time in over 7 years, which is, Arlo's 7. So this is the first time we've taken our kids international. And I feel a lot of excitement, but nervous energy around it. I was saying to my mum yesterday how
every time I feel nervous about taking an international trip like this, especially where it's just not a 2-week holiday, it's going there for 3 months plus and seeing how we like it and seeing what world schooling and traveling as a family could look like for us. Every time I tune into the nerves, I think about how my grandparents brought over, their kids and immigrated to Australia back in the 60s. And, my mum was saying how funny it is that, she immigrated over here with her parents when she was 7 and Arlo's 7. And that hasn't been lost on me. Like, there's this full circle moment that I feel is happening, especially with the passing of my grandfather recently. And just this feeling, this knowing that I needed to take my kids overseas and explore a new, opportunity for us as a family, a new adventure. And the timing, it being now and when he's 7 and when my grandfather passed, there's just so many synchronicities when, this idea of traveling as a family has been on the cards or been an idea for many years that just has never felt like the timing was quite right. And so every time I feel this nervous energy, I connect back to, this feeling of no, it's in my blood. I might feel nervous, but I know on a DNA level how to do this because my grandparents did it. They immigrated here, not knowing anyone, barely speaking any English, not speaking any English. They came and they were, refugees in Sydney, and they had to find their way and find, somewhere to live and something to do for work and how to support their family and navigate a whole big move, just having taken a ship across the world. And I think about the ways in which my grandparents and my mum and my dad and everyone within their family, how they must have felt, the excitement of the kids, my mum and dad, on a boat traveling to a new place, all the excitement of learning English on the boat and getting to know about this new way of life. And I tune into their parents, my grandparents, and how they must have felt the nerves, the fear, the anticipation, the hope for something better. And I feel reminded of the gratitude that I have about not having to move. We are desiring to do this. We are desiring to have a new adventure in a new country. It's not out of necessity. It's not escaping anything. It's wanting to explore because we have that privilege because of what our grandparents and parents have done for us. And so there's this overwhelming sense of gratitude that we get to do this, that we can come back at any time, that there's nothing stopping us in terms of going or coming back, that we have a really beautiful home here in Australia to love, nurture, and come back to whenever we want. And so every time I feel nervous and this fear start to bubble up in my chest, I just come back to that and just come back to how grateful I am that I get to do this and the privilege that surrounds me, and that even when I feel nervous, I can lean on their strength and their bravery and their courage because they did it. And so therefore, I know how to do it too. And of course, this is always just in the moment, right? When I zoom out, I know that this is not a big deal, but there is something special, I think, about documenting these kind of moments where you are taking a leap and you're doing something new for the first time as a parent that involves your family, where there's unknowns. And I think there's a lot of value in being able to share the vulnerability, the hesitations, the excitement, the anticipation that is present during these kinds of things. Because I think a lot of people don't take big leaps into the unknown with their family because of, these feelings. And I think the more we normalize them and, speak about them, it helps us kind of, melt. They melt away a little bit more and we feel less alone in them. So that's why I just want to share these moments. Also because I think it's really cool to look back on these moments, in 2 weeks' time, in 3 months' time, but also in 5 years' time, when the kids can look back on these videos and kind of go, that's what mum and dad did and that's how they felt. And whenever I feel those feelings, I know that I'm okay too. So in saying all of that, I'm going to go and finish packing our bags. They're packed, but as they do when you settle somewhere for a couple of days, they're a big fat mess. So we're going to go make sure that the bags are ready for our international flight. Shayna's taking the kids down for a play at the playground to just run out as much energy as possible before they're on a 9-hour flight. And so, I'm going to go do that and hopefully bring you along on our flight as much as possible. I'm feeling good. I'm feeling good. next episode of World of Our Making, we do our very best not to get run over on the streets of Ho Chi Minh, while of course finding all of the yummy food and the best kid-friendly spots to check out. Make sure you hit subscribe to follow along as we find our feet in Vietnam and start getting stuck into what this whole digital nomad life is really like with a family. Thanks for watching.
What I mean when I see what I see.